Good afternoon, everyone. I am here today to give a bit of an overview of the impact investing workstream, or the finance and legal workstream as it's otherwise known. And one of the key reasons it exists, investment in particular, is to grow the impact that social enterprises are so good at achieving. So, the finance and legal workstream. When thinking about the SDP, we established this because it's pretty well agreed both in New Zealand and internationally that an injection of capital, or money, is an effective way to enable or accelerate business growth. Social enterprises are no different. For them to accelerate and grow their business, it's really beneficial to have an injection of capital to grow both the revenue, but also importantly with social enterprises, the impact of the business. But kind of anecdotally through our work in the market, we've been experiencing and hearing from social enterprises that they often report that it's difficult to receive that money in New Zealand and therefore difficult to grow their business. So there's a challenge there that we needed to learn more about and hopefully better understand. So the impact investing workstream aims to understand why this difficulty to receive capital exists and recommend to government ways to create a more enabling environment for impact investing in New Zealand. We've gone about this in a few different ways. So step one was to really try and better understand the market in New Zealand, the capital needs of social enterprises in New Zealand. And we did this through commissioning this report called Transforming Our Economy about financing the social enterprise sector in Aotearoa, New Zealand. Some of the key insights from that report included the fact that investors lack understanding about social enterprise, what their capital needs are, and what impact investment is generally. Also, social enterprises lack an understanding about what is required to be ready for impact investment. So you've got both the supply and the demand sides of the market not knowing how to work together, which is a bit of a problem. There's also pockets of capital available in New Zealand. There's certainly money out there for certain types of businesses, but what we found was that social enterprises often fall outside of these pockets and aren't able to access those funds. As part of that, there's a significant lack of impact-first capital in New Zealand. So capital specifically allocated to social enterprises that are on the impact-first end of the spectrum rather than the finance-first end, and maybe generate less profit accordingly. So from that, some opportunities that cropped up to consider. There's a number of recommendations, but some of the most relevant, particularly for government, is to one, consider how legal structures create barriers to accessing capital and how these can be removed. That was something that often came up. Also consider initiatives to develop impact investing capability for both the supply and the demand sides of the market so they can meet in the middle. And finally, consider a government-backed fund for impact investment to really catalyse the market. These were all things that regularly came up through that research. One of the problems that came out of that capital needs work being legal structures. So again, it was a whole other problem. We needed to better understand that. And that resulted in Structuring for Impact, evolving legal structures for business in New Zealand. This was commissioned to better understand specific examples of social enterprises that have been unduly affected by the perceived challenges associated with their legal structure. So it was quite a specific brief there, and led to a whole number of insights, including there's a fundamental paradigm in New Zealand that exists. On one side, you've got businesses who make profit, and the other side, there's charities that make impact. And anything in between doesn't really exist in the public perception. It's business for profit, charity for good. Social enterprise obviously kind of fits in the middle there, right? And that's because there's this paradigm that the public are aware of. They're not aware of this thing in the middle. It creates confusion. That confusion results in unrecognition and mistrust and just makes the market really difficult for them to operate in. One of the reasons for that difficulty is a way to counter that mistrust and confusion might be mission lock, whereby a social enterprise can lock in the mission of that organisation. But there's no explicit mission lock within profit-making structures in New Zealand, so there's a big challenge there. All of that ultimately makes it really difficult for social enterprises to access capital and grow. So that hence how it relates back to the capital needs of social enterprises. Leading on from that, the opportunities, significant ones. So one, a more enabling environment can be created for impact businesses. We're seeing a number of fit-for-purpose structures being created overseas. But even more importantly, I think the potential of something like this is significant. By creating a legal structure that enables impact, that incentivises impact, significantly could increase the private sector contribution to wellbeing in New Zealand. Alongside that, kind of behind the scenes, few different activities that have created some interesting insights. One being impact investment readiness grants, whereby grants are provided to social enterprises to help them get ready for investment. Some quick insights from that, huge demand. In 1 month application period this year, we got over 150 applications from social enterprises wanting support to get ready for investment. We were able to provide grants to 9 of them. So we provided grants of up to $20,000 to 9 of those applicants. Fun facts, 60% were a limited liability company, so there's some data there that shows a lot of social enterprises are a company versus a charity. 20% were focused on health and wellbeing as an impact area, 18% in environmental conservation. 22% of the applicants and 25% of the recipients were Māori. And in 2018, the recipients managed to multiply the grant they received into investment by 29 times. So there's a really significant multiple that in terms of the investment they receive based on the grant they're given. On top of that, the Impact Enterprise Fund is New Zealand's first impact investing fund that has also provided some interesting insights. Again, huge demand. We've reviewed over 350 businesses, and through that we've made 3 investments, 2 in 2019. We're continuing to see a need for an increase in investment readiness, but are also seeing that steadily start to improve over the years, which has been really good. And we're also seeing an increased understanding of impact and impact models within applicant businesses, which has been really pleasing to see over the 2 years that that's been operating. Finally, a bit of a catch-all there around market activity, because New Zealand, impact investing in New Zealand is certainly growing. There's been huge growth in recognition and understanding of impact investing here in NZ over the past year. The second impact investing fund here is launched and a third has been announced. Some market scoping was done into the size of the impact investing market, and that was around $900 million now, but forecast to go to $5 billion in 5 years. We've got a national advisory board for impact investing, which continues to guide the New Zealand sector, and seeing some interesting activity overseas. Australia, Canada, for example, are starting to implement significant government funding to enable impact investing. Finally, so where we're at now, what all these kind of insights and things are leading to is that we're getting pretty clear on the problem. It's difficult to get money for social enterprises for a number of reasons, and that's significantly contributed to by a challenging legal environment. On top of that, there's a clear demand for a more enabling legal environment for impact businesses, an increase in impact investment readiness support, and government's own support to catalyse impact investing. We're also seeing governments internationally implement solutions to all of this, and we're starting to have some evidence in New Zealand around the impact these initiatives could have on New Zealand's wellbeing, but more work is required. So, for the remainder of the finance and legal work stream, the focus is to determine, 1, ways to create a more enabling legal environment and the benefits of that, and 2, where is impact investing best placed to deliver outcomes for New Zealand, and what are the benefits of those? All of that, hopefully, will help determine how government is best placed to create an enabling ecosystem for impact investing.